fishing, mining, hoeing, watering, and chopping. 5 of the most essential actions in Stardew Valley, all of which use energy. The entire game is designed around using, restoring, and upgrading energy. It determines what and how much you can do in a day. But of course, I can't use any of it. Not a single point. Not only that, but I can't use any exploits or glitches, and I'm not allowed to skip through goals using Joja services like the membership form or perfection waivers. This challenge will be split into 3 phases. Today we'll be taking on the first to complete the community center. There's a couple of important things to mention when creating the file. First of all, this is version 1.6. We'll be choosing the beach farm as I think it'll be the best farm for this challenge, and all settings will remain on their default. And so the no energy challenge begins on Kickback Farm. You'll notice that I'm actually using 2 mods here. The first just changes the look of the energy bar. That's one I made myself. The other is the Energy Rework mod by Sephiroth. This will drain our energy to 1 every 10 in-game minutes. This way it'll be obvious if I ever accidentally use any energy, and if I do, I have to reset my day. So the immediate question is, what can we do? Well, we can swing our scythe so fiber isn't an issue, and we can pick up forage. That gives us a little bit of a source of money, but until we unlock anything else, this is it. We can also dig through the trash, which could potentially give us useful items, but it's not very likely. For these first 5 days before the community center opens up, my biggest concern is getting a solid source of money. And so maybe predictably, I start giving gifts to Carolyn. It works out pretty well since one of her liked items are dandelions, and that's like one of 5 items that we can get right now. Not really much to do, so I'm sleeping straight until day 5. Already, it's pretty clear that one of the issues I'm going to have is debris overrunning the farm. I can't use my pickaxe or my axe to clear anything, so we're going to have to find some way to prevent debris from spreading. Step 1 is clearing out all the fiber with the scythe so at least it can't spread any debris. Being day 5, that means the community center is open. Although for now we can't really do much since we don't know the Junimo language. I am making sure that I get in my 2 Carolyn gifts per week. Now, before I even think of doing anything else, we have another issue that needs to be solved. My inventory is full. I have 4 tools that I can't even use, and I can't use my axe to get wood so that I can make some chests. Luckily, our starting 500 gold just happens to be exactly enough to buy 50 wood to craft 1 chest. The struggle isn't over because I have to decide where to put this chest. Once it's placed down, it's there forever. I can't use my axe or pickaxe to pick it up. And while you can push chests around with an empty hand, guess what? That uses 1 point of energy, so I can't do that. I settle on 1 tile left of the mailbox and hopefully that never becomes an issue. Now I can get rid of all my tools, freeing up some inventory space and ensuring that I don't accidentally use any points of energy. With that done, I head to bed so that we can continue opening up the community center the next day. I did hit level 1 foraging, which allows me to craft spring seeds. Pretty important for our money-making method. I got the letter from the wizard as usual, and I head on down to his tower. On the way, we pay a visit to what will be one of the most important parts of this run, the traveling cart. There's a huge array of items that can all be sold here. Seeds, crops, furniture, but most importantly, fish. And luckily, thanks to the 1.6 update, all fish have an equal chance to show up here, as opposed to the like 90% chance that it was always a puffer fish in 1.5 for some reason. Regardless, I don't have money for anything right now, so we move on. As usual, we head into the wizard's tower to learn the language of the Junimos, so that we can now start progress on the community center. Before we get started here, I will mention that these aren't remixed bundles. While there's a chance that it could have made things a little easier for us, there was a much more probable chance that it would have made things harder. Luckily, the first bundles we have available to us are the foraging bundles, and seeing how that's literally all we've been able to do up to this point, we can knock one out. Most of the other bundles here shouldn't give us too much of a problem, it's just a case of waiting for the season to roll around. Except for the construction bundle, but we'll get to that. For our effort, we get some spring seeds and unlock the crop and fish bundles. Not really too much we can do for them now, so we head on out. We do also have access to the mines now, and lucky us, we can use weapons without using energy. But until we have a solid way of getting through floors, it's not going to do us much good. Getting through the mines will be one of the major early challenges of this run. We'll have to come back later with more supplies. What kind of supplies, you ask? These supplies. This is exactly why I chose the beach farm. These supply crates that wash up on the beach every now and again can contain bombs. Bombs are perhaps the most important item in this run. They're important for getting deeper in the mines. They're the only way I can get any mining experience at all. And remember how I said debris is an issue? This solves that issue. It destroys trees, rocks, and sticks alike. And I want to make sure that you understand the danger that debris poses. At any point, I'm at risk of getting soft locked if my house gets blocked out by rocks or something, and having a few bombs on hand guarantees that I always have an out. So yeah, I'll be stockpiling these bombs. The next day, I finally grab a fishing rod. Can't really use it, of course, it uses energy. It will be important to visit the beach often though, since I can actually forage some of the fish I need for the crab pot bundle. They'll also pop up on the farm since I have the beach farm. I keep this routine going for a while, picking forage, gifting Carolyn, hunting for supply crates, check the traveling cart. It's really all we can do. The bookstore is in town on the 12th. It half solves a problem, half doesn't. If at any point it's impossible for me to get experience for a skill, we could spend money on experience books here, but that shouldn't be an issue. Otherwise, there's just a few speed buffs here that'll be nice in the future. More importantly, there's a hardwood in the traveling cart. I have to buy every single one that's sold here because it is almost the only way I can obtain them. Which is an issue. Not only do I need them for the construction bundle, but eventually I'll need 200 for the boat to Ginger Island. You may ask, couldn't I go to the secret woods? If I slayed slimes, they could drop mahogany seeds and I could blow them up when fully grown, just like in the Imperfection run. But there's absolutely no way I can get rid of this log in the way. It can't even be blown up. And chair skipping is an exploit. Not allowed. The secret woods are strictly off limits. The only other legitimate ways for me to get hardwood would be from crates in the mines, very rare, or from mystery boxes, even more rare. So it's the traveling cart for now. But don't worry, I have plans. I got 5 more cherry bombs on the 14th, and until I get enough friendship with Carolyn, I'll be selling a few spring seeds at a time anytime I need money. And today, it was for Lobster Bisque for its hefty 3 fishing level buff. And the reason for that is that at level 3 fishing, you can buy crab pots from Willy, which would be an energy-free way of gaining fishing experience. That's for a later day though, they're expensive. We got our cat, they're named Garfield to match the lazy theme, and berry season has rolled around. They won't be used for energy like they usually would, but you do get experience for harvesting them now. And from it, we got level 2 foraging. Fast forward to the 23rd, we got a clam. That kind of tells you how uneventful the previous days were. And we finally got 2 hearts with Carolyn. A lot of you know what this means. I immediately go into her sunroom to see the tea sapling cutscene. And the next morning, we get the recipe. So you're probably thinking, oh, you're gonna sell tea saplings, right? Wrong. What we have here is a miracle of an item. It's a plant that doesn't need a spot hoed for it, doesn't need to be watered, lasts through all seasons, and only needs to be harvested during the last week of the month. This is our best moneymaker. It's not completely free though, we do need to buy the wood for the crafting recipe. Altogether, I'm able to craft 28 of them. Huge. And again, I have to be very careful where I place these. Only an axe can move them and, well, you know. I decided that the best way to place them is on the perimeter of the eastern coast. They'll work as their own wall, preventing any debris from spreading past them, securing me a path south, and I can harvest them on the way to the traveling cart. They'll need nearly a full month to grow though, so we won't see any money until the end of summer. To cover us in the meantime, I sell the rest of the unused spring seeds. For my next little project, I bought some wood so that I could make a path through the farm to prevent debris from spreading. This was a mistake. Turns out paths don't prevent it from spreading at all. So, whoops. Something really cool happens on the last day of spring. Concerned Ape knows that the difficulty of the fishing minigame can be intimidating, so if you haven't reached at least level 1 fishing by the end of your first month, you get level 1 for free, and a training rod to boot, which we can't use. It needs energy just like the regular fishing rod, but it's neat. We've exhausted everything we can do in spring for now, so we're moving on to summer. Concerningly, this causes a heap of debris to pop up everywhere, but we're still alright. First priority was finding all of the summer forageables to complete our second bundle, but I wasn't having any luck, so I slept through to Friday to give them some chances to spawn. Before I even had the opportunity to find them though, I noticed 4 fish that we need in the traveling cart. I grabbed the red snapper and sunfish for now. I was able to find the forageables, we slap them in, no issue, and there's our boiler room bundles. Those will be fairly simple to knock out once we're through the mines. None of the items themselves need any kind of workaround as far as energy goes. To get money for the other fish, I buy more wood for tea saplings, sell them, and grab them. With the leftover money, I decided it's time to use up that lobster bisque and grab a crab pot. It'll be some more passive money, plus we'll be able to complete the crab pot bundle for even more crab pots. Stonks. That same night, I finally reached level 3 foraging, unlocking the new lower level cookout kit. Good for some eventual sashimi. I got a shrimp from the crab pot, and that's all I need to complete the crab pot bundle. That's 3 free crab pots. And the bulletin board bundle's unlocked. I don't even want to think about those yet. Now that we have both crab pots and access to cookout kits, I'm going to start working on friendship with Linus to get the sashimi recipe. So, as we established, pathing does nothing to stop debris. What does stop debris though is grass starter. Unfortunately, it's very expensive for how much we need of it, so we can only buy a few of them. I'm most worried about access to the left side of the farm here, so I place them to the left of our house, hoping they'll spread enough to fill the area. I do go to the luau under the pretense of getting everyone some friendship, but really it's gonna be so long before we start focusing on friendship that it'll probably be decayed by the time we start. We've reached the often forgotten crab mating season, giving us more items to forage and sell on the beach, giving us just enough money to buy tilapia for the fish bundles. And we're starting to get to the point where one chest isn't enough, so I have to sacrifice another 500 gold to craft another chest. It's not all doom and gloom though, as we get our 3rd bomb supply crate. I feel a lot safer with 15 bombs in my pocket. I make the executive decision to use our first bomb to remove debris from our tea sapling area. There are important little babies. The second chest is down, it'll be for storing our fish. The 18th is the first green rain day. This is possibly the most stressful day for me. Not because I have so much to do, not that there's any risk to me, but because of the trees that pop up everywhere. Luckily, they'll despawn overnight, but it's still stressful to look at. There's not really anything special about today other than being a great opportunity to grab as much fiber, moss, and foraging experience as we want. These big clumps of fiber give a whopping 15 experience each. And this is the first day that I didn't go to sleep early. I'm rewarded with level 4 foraging, super important for the summer seeds recipe. And I was very relieved to see the trees gone the next day. I'm able to make 110 summer seeds with all of the forageables I've collected this season. That's so many that I have to sell some to afford the wood to craft even more tea saplings. It's a whole process. The Great Wall of tea saplings extends almost all the way to Cindersap Forest now. I make sure to leave some gaps for me to walk through because again, these are here forever. I actually had too many, so I sold the extras. Money. Got a walleye in the shop on the 21st, that's a yoink. And the 22nd is the first day we get to harvest the tea saplings we planted back in spring. So I did forget that anytime we need bait for the crab pots, I need to be level 2 fishing to buy them. Luckily, all we need to do is buy some trout soup for the 2 level boost. It's a little more expensive, but more than worth it. And money won't be an issue for too much longer because we're getting 1,400 gold each day from these tea saplings, and that's only half of the saplings we've planted so far. Also, mystery boxes are being dropped. Let's discuss. These can be useful to me. They have a chance to contain things like hardwood or bombs, but the most common ways to find them are chopping trees and fishing, neither of which I can do. So if we do manage to find any, I'll pop them open, but even then, vast majority of the time, I'll just be getting seeds or food items. It's not anything that I can rely on. For the rest of summer, I continue to harvest the tea saplings. I hit level 2 fishing from the crab pots, and on the very last day of summer, with all of my tea sapling money, I buy all of the resources we need to build a coop for so many reasons. First, I have the animal bundle to think about. We can get a lot of these items from coop animals, but also petting animals gives 5 farming experience. Picking up eggs gives 5 farming experience. This will be a great way to get our farming level up before we have to start worrying about crops. And you may ask, why a coop? Why not a barn? Milking cows uses energy. It's unfortunate. As a final gift from the season, we not only get a shad from the traveling cart, but our second piece of hardwood as well. Our tea sapling riches have been efficiently drained, and so fall begins. More debris. It's becoming closer to being a problem now. Very important item in the traveling cart today, a sprinkler. As you can probably guess, an energy-free way to water crops is pretty important. I wasn't relying on finding one in the traveling cart, but this saves us a lot of trouble. I don't need to get the farming level, and I don't need to find the materials in the mines to craft it. So I'm taking it. I also grabbed some jelly for the artisan bundle. As usual, I hunt for all the new forageables of the season, and now that it's fall, the special orders board is built. This is very much going to be an eventually thing. Even if I were able to complete some of the orders, the crafting recipes that I'd get from them usually require things like hardwood or other late game items, so it's not really too beneficial to us at the moment. I did find all the fall forageables, that's another bundle complete, unlocking the last set of bundles with the vault. We've already got our moneymaker in place, it's simply a matter of time before we complete it. Access to the desert is going to be important for a lot of things, so it's somewhat of a priority. Finally, I think I have all the resources I need to start farming. So I buy the 4 seeds I need for the fall crops bundle. The downside to using the beach farm is that I can only use sprinklers on this small plot of land, which is kind of risky when it comes to debris. Debris can and will destroy your crops, but it's all we got. For hoeing the ground, we can actually use bombs, yet another reason they're so important. Which spots the bomb hoes is actually random. Lucky us though, I got the perfect pattern on my first bomb. I take this opportunity before planting the seeds to clear the area around it, and that's all 4 seeds planted. I will be checking on these very often just to make sure debris isn't getting too close. I do have a couple of geodes from supply crates and some of the rocks I've bombed. Might as well pop them open and see what we get. I'm looking for coal here so that I can make my cookout kits, and luckily, I got 6. And I go ahead and donate a couple of items to the museum. As far as phase 1 is concerned, this is very much a side quest. I don't need anything from the museum rewards, but getting access to Krobus could be nice. He sells fish on Wednesdays, and that could help out with the most RNG part of phase 1. Speaking of, the traveling cart has a sandfish today required for the specialty fish bundle, and I decided to put some furniture around my crops. Any spot where debris can't spawn is a good spot. Fall 10th marks the day that I finally made enough money to open up the farm cave. So the question is, mushrooms or fruit? The way I see it, I can grow fruit trees. There's nothing about the no energy challenge that stops me from growing fruit trees. Mushrooms, on the other hand, I can't get into the secret woods. If I want to find a mushroom floor in the mines, it's going to be significantly harder than in a regular playthrough, so I'm going with mushrooms. It was hit with a half nerf, half buff in 1.6. It only produces every other day, but I do get a free dehydrator out of it. A dehydrator that I can't move out of the corner of this room because I can't use my axe. On the 12th, I finally got that sashimi recipe. And then the traveling cart tempts me with quality sprinklers. I simply can't say no to it. You never know what could happen. That'll be useful in the future. It is time to cook up some sashimi. Gotta be real careful here, make sure I don't accidentally cook something that I need for the bundles. If you're unfamiliar with the method, basically I cook up any fish that's worth less than 75 gold, since sashimi sells for 75 gold. And luckily that includes a lot of crab pot fish. And that's 38 plates of sashimi. I sell it straight to Pierre for 2,800 gold, and I grab the grass starter recipe so I don't have to buy anymore. Next, I'm buying 2 chickens. Even with those free sprinklers, we're going to need farming levels for the quality crops. On the 16th, our first 2 fall crops, the yam and the eggplant, are ready. And I decided I'll actually go to the Stardew Fair. If I'm honest, I don't know if the fishing minigame uses energy, so I use the slingshot minigame instead. I do get the star drop. Yes, I know it's not gonna do anything for us, but why not? And then I grab the prize ticket and 100 hay. With our fancy new grass starter recipe, I'm gonna start filling in the area to the right of my house with grass, just like before, to prevent debris. The first thing we get from the prize machine with our ticket is broccoli seeds. It's gonna be a very long time before we get anything useful here. On the 19th, our chickens are now grown up, giving us eggs. Issue is, we need large eggs for the animal bundle, and that only happens if the chicken have high friendship with us. So at some point, instead of sleeping through multiple days, we're going to have to tend to the chickens every day until we get those big eggs. Not now though. The pumpkin's ready today too. Now we're just waiting on corn. We got level 1 farming and level 5 foraging, which brings up a lot of questions, let me explain. Currently, money is a solved problem for us, and if we went down the gatherer route, that's really all we would get from it, more money. And you may be thinking, oh, well, if we go down the forester route, at level 10, we could get the lumberjack profession, which makes all trees drop hardwood. That sounds great, but there is an issue. Somehow, some way, this doesn't apply to trees that are brought down with bombs. Only trees brought down with axes. And in fact, this same effect applies to the 25% more wood we would have gotten from foresters, so really it doesn't matter what we choose here. We're not really benefiting regardless. Got a tuna from the traveling cart on the 21st, and the 22nd marks tea sapling harvesting day. Now that all of the tea saplings are grown, that's 53 tea leaves a day. 2,650 gold. It's 50 short here because I accidentally left one on the ground. I've decided it's finally time to make an attempt on the mines. With 17 cherry bombs, I should be able to make it at least 5 floors. When going through the mines, we're going to focus on trying to get a staircase from enemies, since that's the only energy and supplies free way to try and get lower. And if that doesn't work, we then resort to bombing rocks. Unfortunately, we're met with resistance immediately, as on floor 1, enemies don't spawn. So in this case, I'm going to keep re-rolling the floor over and over again until we get one with very few rocks. So then individually, each rock has a higher chance of dropping a ladder. And real quick, let me tell you why it's so important that we get through the mines. First of all, it is the path of least resistance when it comes to the boiler room bundles. Theoretically, we could complete them by spending a lot of money at a lot of shops, but I'd rather not. Second, currently, as you know, our only reliable source of bombs is from supply crates. Getting through the mines will offer us many other ways of getting bombs. For instance, finding quartz, we can trade it for bombs at the desert trader. Several enemies have chances to drop bombs. And probably most importantly, if we get all 4 dwarf scrolls, we can outright buy bombs from the dwarf. It's very much a spend bombs to get bombs situation. So the sooner we do this, the better. Eventually I found the perfect floor 1, and all that work paid off because it only took 1 bomb to get 1 staircase. Here's where it gets rough though, cause now we can't re-roll as much as we want. We need to rely on there being a lot of monsters on each floor. Already we got pretty bad luck. It took 5 bombs to get past floor 2. Floor 3 had a free ladder, although I used a bomb before I realized it was there. And on floor 4 I used 1 bomb before getting the ladder from a slime. And that's the scariest part of the mines done. Now that we have an elevator to floor 5, we can re-roll it until we get enough enemies to drop staircases. And if we don't get a free staircase on the next floor, just go back to floor 5 and re-roll it until we get through again. Now I'm not under the assumption that I'll never have to use a bomb again. If we're on like floor 9 and we're almost to the next set of 5 floors, I'll use a bomb if I have to. But we shouldn't have to use nearly as much as we did for the first 5 floors. Also, you see these crates here in the bottom left corner of floor 5? I can probably grind those out for hardwood, right? No, I can't. In 1.6, it was changed so that these never respawn until the turn of the new year. A cool and fun change that makes the game better that definitely wasn't targeted at this challenge run at all. While looking for a good run to make my push down to floor 10, I found the first of our 4 dwarf scrolls, which is incredibly lucky. None of these are super common drops. In that same run, I got 2 freebie ladders, so I decided to push down further with bombs. It only took 1 bomb on floor 7, 1 bomb on floor 8. Unfortunately, floor 9 had a lot of rocks on it, so it took 3 bombs. And with the elevator to floor 10 unlocked, that's where we call it for the day. And that was all it took to get to level 1 combat. I continue harvesting my tea saplings for the next few days. I got pretty distracted by the tea saplings and I almost forgot to harvest our corn for the month. But we do get it, and that's the last thing we needed for the fall crops bundle. On the 27th of fall, I do want to go to the Spirits Eve festival because selling the golden pumpkin for 5,000 gold is a lot, so I decided to spend my day back in the mines. This time though, I'm not planning to go deeper. See, floor 11 has a lot of dirt, and in dirt, Duggies can spawn, and Duggies have a 25% chance to drop a cherry bomb. This is our first method of being able to actively grind out bombs. Of course, if I happen to get a bunch of ladders from enemies, I'm not gonna say no, but I'm not looking to use any more bombs. But funny enough, it really didn't take long until I got down to floor 13. And then I got yet another freebie, and at that point I'm on floor 14, I might as well use a couple of bombs. And it only took 1 before getting the ladder. Now floor 15 is the place to be. There's a giant dirt patch directly in front of the elevator, so I can easily grind out Duggies here. I'm also aiming for all of the bugs. The insect head got a huge buff in 1.6, to the point where you're crazy if you don't go for it. When I ran out of time, I had the same amount of bombs as I started with, but I am 5 floors deeper, and having floor 15 unlocked is a big deal. We'll be coming back here a lot. I grabbed the golden pumpkin, and just in case you didn't know, there's a shortcut out of the maze now. Easy money. On the final day of fall, we have 2 items to buy from the traveling cart. Honey and an orange, both for the artisan bundle. I also decided to buy a 3rd chicken to speed up our progress on farming levels. Winter is here. The debris is spread once again, and now I have to walk behind my house to get to the left of it. Not looking good, but at least in winter, trees won't grow or spread. Now for once, foraging's gonna be a little bit of an issue. We can get the crocus and the crystal fruit just fine, but snow yams and winter roots need to be dug up. and we can't use the hoe, so we need to figure out another way to get them. I went ahead and got the magnifying glass. This really isn't going to do much for us for now, but later on it'll be required. I go ahead and donate the 2 items that we're able to get to the winter foraging bundle. And finally, I have enough money to where I'm comfortable getting our first inventory upgrade, which will especially help us out in the mines. And the mines are going to be my major focus this season. We're not climbing deeper just yet. I'm still going to be running through the floors we've already been through just to collect more bombs, defeat more insects, and hopefully get a dwarf scroll or 2. On winter 2nd, I hit both level 2 combat and level 3 fishing, so I can craft crab pots myself once I get the materials for it, but I can also buy crab pots outright without having to boost my level. So I buy a couple more, and then it's back to the mines. Funny enough, I completed the Slayer goal for Duggies before anything else. Doesn't really get us much, but it's neat to have. I completed the Bug Slayer goal as well. The insect head is going to increase our damage by a lot. We won't have anything better until well into the ice floors. While I was in the mines, anytime I saw a good cluster of copper ore nodes, I'd bomb it, and I finally got enough copper to build our first furnace. At the traveling cart on the 5th, we can get an apricot for the artisan bundle. Now that we can make our own copper bars, I'm going to buy the wood we need to make some tappers. Then you know the deal, it's back to the mines to grind out some more bombs. I'll try to push a little deeper today. I got a couple of staircase freebies, so I started making my way down to floor 20. And luckily on the disgusting spiral floor of 19, we got a freebie from a monster. While I was hunting for some more freebies, ladders to get down to floor 25, I broke a crate and we got our 3rd hardwood. Just 7 more to go. Unfortunately, I didn't get lucky enough to get down to floor 25. I'm trying to maintain somewhere around 10 cherry bombs. That's just the amount where it feels safe. We got some important level ups. Level 3 combat, who cares? But level 1 mining. We can now craft cherry bombs. It costs 4 copper ore, so anytime I see 3 or more copper ore nodes in a cluster, there's no reason for me not to blow it up. Which is good because before I was pretty hesitant to, but now it's just going to be beneficial. That'll speed up our mining level ups too. The next day I'm back to going deeper in the mines, and on floor 22 we get an infested floor. Normally, you'd kind of not like to see these, but for me that just means I can get through the floor guaranteed without using any energy. And if you see an infested floor, that floor will always be infested on the same day, so even if I have an unsuccessful run trying to get down to 25, I'll always have this infested floor to lean back on. Didn't matter though, I just had to use 1 bomb on floor 24 and we were on to 25. And it didn't stop there because I just kept getting freebies from the monsters. And in no time I was already down to floor 30. Unfortunately, I really don't like the dark floors. Ignoring the fact that it's really dark and I can't really see if a staircase spawns, there's not nearly as many enemies here to rely on getting a staircase from, so we didn't make it any deeper today. I also used a lot of bombs, so I'm down to 7 now. I also got level 2 farming today from petting our chickens, giving us the pretty important sprinkler recipe, as well as mayonnaise machines to get a little more profit out of our chickens. So the 8th is the ice fishing festival, right? And I decide to test something. You fish in this festival. My question is, does it use energy? Because this could be an opportunity for us to catch a couple of fish for our fishing log without using any energy. It doesn't even show the energy bar on screen, so I'm figuring there's a pretty good chance. But I try the fish, nothing happens. I figure it's probably because I didn't have a fishing rod in my inventory, so we give it another go. Try it again, this time with the fishing rod in my inventory, and it still doesn't let us cast. Now this time it must be because we don't have any energy. It's not showing the little, oh, you can't cast animation, but it seems to be happening anyway. Well, I just figure that's a bit of a shame, so I leave. Little did I know, it would appear I've discovered a bug. I'm not sure what caused it, whether it was me trying to fish with no energy at the competition, whether it's because I left in the middle of the competition, but the game seems to always think I have a fishing rod in my hands, despite not having one in my inventory at all. So I'm not able to do anything. I can't place my crab pot down. I can't open chests. I'm stuck. Luckily, exiting out to the title and reopening the game fixed it, but that could have been really bad. Well, after that excitement, it's back to work. Even though it's really hard to get through these floors, they seem to yield a lot more copper than usual. And again, I can turn copper into bombs, so it's just as efficient as fighting Duggies. I'm able to use all of the copper we have on bombs because I don't need it to upgrade tools, because I can't use tools. And the only reason I'd ever need any copper bars is to craft, and I don't really need to craft that much. So that brings us back up to 15 bombs. And that's already level 4 combat. In the traveling cart on the 12th, we find a gold bar. Now, there's only a couple of items that I need from floor 80 and up from the mines, and this is one of them. Honestly, any excuse I can find to spend less time in the mines, the better I am, so I'm just gonna grab it. This would leave fire quartz as the sole reason we even need to reach floor 80 of the mines. By the way, if you're wondering why I haven't been showing me donating the items to the bundles, it's because I've been hoarding all of them. Kinda wanted to get all the bundles done in one fell swoop with one trip, so I do that. It's weird, I know. I had a unique Stardew experience today. I crafted a torch. If you hold a torch in your hands, it actually illuminates the area around you, so it kind of works like a poor man's glow ring. And this will help me spot the ladders that I wouldn't normally see. And apparently it worked because we were finally able to get through a set of 5 floors. Even though it was late, I still kept going at it. And I got probably the best drop I've gotten so far. The Monster Compendium. Basically, all monsters now have a 3% chance to drop double their loot, which doesn't sound like much, but it adds up. This is a better chance to get bombs from enemies, a better chance to get the rest of the dwarf scrolls. It'll definitely be useful. And then I used a couple bombs, but I did get to floor 40. Crazy progress today. We did get the slingshot. It's not really gonna play into this run too much until we get explosive ammo, but it's neat to have. So now that we're on 440, there's a bunch of things we can start grinding. We can get iron ore, which we need for bundles, and eventually we'll be able to craft it into regular bombs. Dust sprites will be a reliable source of coal, and we need just 1 frozen tier for the boiler room bundles as well. Also, I broke this crate and got 2 hardwood. That makes 5 total, already halfway there. Also, since dust sprites spawn in hordes, it's going to be so much easier to get free ladders heading down. And because of that, I'm able to zoom straight on to 45. And that's where we leave it for the day. Honestly, I was super stressed about getting through the mines. I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it ended up being. I don't know if it was just really good luck or just that it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be, but I'll take it. Now, it's a little unfortunate that while I'm trying to grind out these ice floors of the mines, I'm not going to passively be getting more bombs. There's no duggies to drop them, and I won't be getting as much copper to craft them, so we kind of have to be more careful heading down now. You won't believe this. Another 2 hardwood. This is a joke. 7 out of 10 now. And guess what? Yep. That's 9. And as if my luck couldn't get any better, a second dwarf scroll. I think I'm starting to like the ice mines. Got level 2 mining, which unlocks staircases, which might seem like a big deal, but remember, I'm not gonna be getting that much stone because I can't just whack rocks with a pickaxe. I have to expend my precious bombs for it, so not a huge deal. Went to the mines really quick on the 14th to get some more slime because I have all of the items needed to complete the Adventurers bundle and the Blacksmith bundle. We get a magnet ring and a furnace for our trouble. All we have left is the fire quartz. I did also pick up a winter root that's dropped by the ice slimes. Unfortunately, the snow yam is an issue. There's a couple of ways we could get it. We could plant some winter seeds and hope for it, or we could get it from the traveling cart. Just kind of depends on which comes up first. I also slapped some maple syrup into the exotic foraging bundle, which we bought forever ago from the traveling cart. I popped open all the mystery boxes we've gotten mostly from enemy drops up to this point, and now you see why I can't rely on these too hard. Although the farm warp totem will be nice at some point. I also donate whatever we found to the museum. It's 18 items so far. There's wool in the traveling cart, and even though I could get it from rabbits, ultimately, buying a deluxe coop and rabbits are very expensive, so I just grabbed the wool for the animal bundle. I also buy an oak resin here. Yes, I can tap for it, but it's just 600 gold. Second trip to the community center today, I can actually complete the exotic foraging bundle thanks to our mushroom cave, and I didn't actually need the oak resin. That leaves just the construction bundle and the winter foraging bundle. Crafting as many cherry bombs as I can, I'm able to get back up to 15 bombs, and I'm kinda sorta hoping this will be enough to get us to floor 80. Got lucky with another infested floor on 48, allowing us to reach 50 without using a single bomb. And immediately after that, on floor 51, I get the 3rd dwarf scroll. Just 1 more and we can have all of the bombs we would ever want from the dwarf. 3 freebie ladders and a bomb, and it's straight on to 55. I got my beloved glow ring. Even though we're not gonna be out much at night, it's still nice to have. And with a couple of bombs, I was able to hit floor 60 as well. And it's the night market. Now for our purposes, really the only important thing here is the extra traveling cart we'll get each night. It's just more chances to get all of our fish for the fish bundles. And there was a rabbit's foot. Again, this saves me the money of getting a deluxe coop, so I'll go for it. I also already got level 5 combat. Now I could try to figure everything out, but I think it's going to be both better and simpler to just go for fighter for the extra damage. Going deeper in the ice caves. At this point, I'm hoping for all freebies. I don't want to use any more bombs than I already have. I managed 65 only using 1 bomb. So with how much I'm trying to save my bombs, I want to explain why I blew up this diamond. First of all, by selling a diamond, I can outright buy 4 pieces of copper and 1 piece of coal, so that I can craft another bomb to replace it. Also, diamonds give a whopping 150 mining experience, which is huge this early on. The faster I'm able to craft new types of bombs, the better. The second day of the night market yielded a truffle, and yes, it's very expensive, but you want to know what's more expensive? Buying a deluxe barn and a pig, so I have to go for it. I also want to mention that I've seen like 3 red cabbages in the traveling cart up to this point, which sucks because this is a run that's easily going to be going into year 2, so I don't have to worry about them in the first place, but still. I also went ahead and did the mermaid Easter egg for the free pearl. Don't know what I'm going to use this for, probably just a universally loved gift later on. Momentous occasion. We got our first big boy bomb from a bat in the ice caves. I actually forgot that they could even drop these. Not a reliable drop by any means, but it's still nice to have. So I was taking a little break from the ice caves, both to get some more cherry bombs and to complete the Juicy Bugs Wanted special order. And I got my final dwarf scroll. This is huge. And also extremely lucky, by the way. I've had several playthroughs where I complete the mines and I never see half of the dwarf scrolls. So I'm pretty happy about this. I did another popping of geodes the next day and yeah, that's what you want to see. Donated the last scroll, got the Dwarvis translation guide. Now I can buy all the bombs I want. Although funny enough, I kinda don't have to right now. After completing the Juicy Bugs Wanted quest, I have tons of cherry bombs and I got quite a few bombs on the way as well. So we're chilling. On the 21st, I was able to pick up a Maki roll from the traveling cart. Not the hardest item for us to get, but it's another thing we don't have to do. I also completed Juicy Bugs Wanted, which got us a ton of money, and the quality bobber recipe, which we can't use. But since this is 1.6, we also get a prize ticket, which wins us a free orange sapling. And now with all of our bombs, all of our riches, we should be able to just zoom through the mines. Which we do. Once we start seeing skeletons, I quickly get a bone sword, which is the first weapon that outdoes the insect head, just by having a couple more points of speed. I am still resetting floors to make sure I get a good start, but I'm much more liberal with my bomb use. Got level 4 mining, the glowstone ring could be nice to make eventually. I get right back to it, 75 comes easily, and before the end of the day, we hit floor 80. Lucky me, I find a fire quartz on the very first floor and we are out of here, done with the mines. There's actually nothing about the community center that requires me to get to the bottom, so I won't. I slap it in and that is the boiler room bundles completed, unlocking the minecart shortcuts. And with that completed, I'm gonna go ahead and start donating some of the items we've been hoarding so far. I'll donate the wood and stone to the construction bundle. The stone we just naturally had from going down in the mines, the wood I actually had to buy. And it's very important that I buy any resources that I need before the turn of the new year because it'll get much more expensive. We have a ton of items to donate to the pantry bundles, all of which were bought from the traveling cart with the exception of the fall crops, which we did grow last season. And our reward for completing it is a free bee house. It's a bit of a weird object to place because I definitely don't need it, but it'll be nice to have down for some extra money. I also started crafting mayonnaise machines for our eggs. I got level 4 fishing on the 24th. The recycling machine is going to be huge. We've been building up a ton of trash from our grab bots. It'll be a good energy-free way of getting stone, coal, wood, iron ore, and cloth. I thought I might as well see what I get from the Feast of the Winter Star. Unfortunately, I got Evelyn, who always gives cookies. I got perhaps the craziest traveling card I've ever seen on the 26th. Not only did I get a mega bomb for only 600 gold, but they had 5 iridium bars for sale. I don't really need them, but man, I can think of many playthroughs where I did. On the 27th, I did another sashimi cook and sell off just to get some money because I plan to buy a lot tomorrow, including the snow yam from the traveling cart. That completes the winter forging bundle, meaning all we need for the craft room is just 10 hardwood. I sold everything else that I wouldn't need in the immediate future because today is the last day that we can buy resources at a discounted rate. And I am absolutely loading up on wood and stone, mostly so I can go ahead and get my big coop upgrade. I buy a couple of mega bombs as well. They don't increase in price, but it will be nice just to have them in my inventory. It's unfortunate, but the price got increased in 1.6, so it's a little more expensive than it normally would have been. And while checking the garbage cans like I always do, yeah, and what am I gonna do, not wear it? And with that, year 1 has ended. New year, new me, and a new ridiculous amount of debris. I'm going into this second year with one goal. Each season, I'm going to grow all of the crops that need to be grown, and along the way, hopefully we'll make the money to complete the vault bundle. Speaking of, I'm gonna go ahead and spend 5,000 gold on the 5,000 gold bundle, since the reward for it is 30 quality fertilizer, which will help a ton getting our quality crops bundles finished. On spring 2nd, the big coop upgrade was finished, so it'll be easier to keep our chickens fed, so that we can hopefully build them up to having big eggs for the animal bundle. First things first, we've got to deal with all the trees. I'm using mega bombs. Why mega bombs? Look at it this way. Trees have 10 points of health, stumps have 5 points of health. A cherry bomb would do 1 point of damage, a bomb will do 2, and a mega bomb will do 3. So by using mega bombs, not only will I only have to use 6 as opposed to 8 regular bombs and 15 cherry bombs, but just one set of them will clear almost the entire farming plot. I do have a quality sprinkler that I bought forever ago from the traveling cart. I gotta be very careful with this because I want it to last us the entire year. As a side note, yes, if you mash the sprinklers with an empty hand, you can pop them up, but that uses 1 point of energy. Now we did already get the cauliflower we needed for the spring crops bundle, so I grabbed 1 potato seed, 1 bean starter, and a bunch of parsnips for the quality crops bundle. And after thinking about it longer, I'm gonna add another basic sprinkler to our setup. I put the quality fertilizer in all the spots that we'll be using it, and I plant it all. So now we're gonna get into the rhythm of waking up on Fridays and Sundays to check the traveling cart, and on those days also checking our crops, as well as doing any other chores that need to be done. On the 5th, I do decide to donate every single fish we've collected so far into the fish bundles, just so I can easily see what we have left to collect. None of the bundles are finished yet, but a lot of them are pretty close. And then for the bulletin board bundles, it's just all the items that are easier to get, or we just happen to get through the traveling cart so far. That Sunday, our first batch of parsnips are ready, and I only got 2 gold ones, so we're gonna have to plant some more. Luckily, parsnips grow fast, so it won't be that much of an issue. Grabbing a duck on the 10th, we do need a duck egg for the animal bundle, but also, if we don't end up getting wine from the traveling cart, we're going to need a pretty high farming level to unlock kegs. It's just a backup though, hopefully it doesn't come to that. Got a crop fairy on the same night that all my parsnips happened to finish growing, so didn't really do much, although I guess I get my bean a little earlier. Well, the potato and the green bean will complete the spring crops bundle, but yet again, we're still short 1 golden parsnip. So hopefully just 1 more set of seeds. I got level 4 farming, it doesn't really get us anything important. On the 17th, we got our first duck eggs. That's another item for the animal bundle. On the 19th, we pluck the 3rd harvest of parsnips, and we got it. All of the spring crops are done. Not only that, but I also got a carp for the lake fish bundle. So I'm back buying a couple more crops because we need to keep all of the spots that we have tilled filled up. Otherwise, there's a chance that the spots will disappear overnight. And if they disappear, we can't retill them with bombs because the bombs will destroy our sprinklers and then it'll be a whole issue. So I'm just gonna fill them up with some parsnips until the end of the season. And then we go and complete the spring crops bundle. On the 21st, we got our first large white egg. Now we just need to wait for a large brown egg. Got level 6 foraging, not from anything special, just picking up whatever I see, which gives us our lightning rods. Not important for the community center, but clearly important for later on. I've been checking my mushroom cave every day for purple mushrooms, and finally I got it on the 25th, and we got our large brown egg on the same day. That means we no longer have to tend to all of our animals every single day to make sure they have high friendship, which is going to be a huge load off my back. Finally got a big milk from the traveling cart. Reminder, I can't milk cows, so this is the only way I can get this. Doing another set of donations, the animal bundle is finished, leaving just crops and the artisan bundle in the pantry. And on the final day of spring, we get the final piece of hardwood we need. Kinda. So I'm not actually about to go and donate this hardwood right now. The reason being, it's just gonna make our life easier in the long run if I use this hardwood somewhere else. And that somewhere else is a wood skip pond. See, wood skips have a chance to spawn 5 hardwood at once if you have at least 6 in a pond. The issue being, the very first item they ask for at 1 pond capacity is 10 hardwood. So if we want to get hardwood, we have to spend hardwood. It's a bit of a complicated situation too, because I also need wood skips to complete the fish bundles, so we'll have to figure that out. Got a couple of items we can donate to the bulletin board bundles as well. We have the duck feather for the dye bundle, and the purple mushroom completing the field research bundle. And don't forget we have all that tea sapling money. Summer of year 2, just like in spring, we're gonna focus on crops. I can safely clear off all the dead parsnips now that they've reserved all the spots. For buying seeds, there's a ton to consider here. I'm just gonna go ahead and go all in on melon seeds. We'll see how many gold ones we get from it and then decide what to buy from there. Every spot has a melon to start, and then it's back to the old sleeping routine. Though I realized quickly I don't want any of my crops to be smited by lightning, so I'm gonna go ahead and set up some lightning rods. Of course, we'll also benefit from getting the battery packs. Thinking to the future, I grab a pomegranate and apple sapling, both of which we'll need for the bulletin board bundles. I personally find it very weird that they're able to grow right next to saltwater, but we'll take it. On the 7th, we get our eel for the night fishing bundle. We hit level 5 farming and we have a big decision to make here. Now, even though we have a ton of animal products right now because we have a coop, thinking in the long term, we're gonna have more crops later on and they're gonna be easier to manage, so I go for tiller. On the 12th, we got a cheese for the artisan bundle. And on the 13th, the melons are ready, only 2 gold quality. Now, that's not good. These take a long time to grow. We only get 1 more harvest from them. So I'm gonna bomb out 1 more cross section for another regular sprinkler, grab another 12 melon seeds, and for the extra 4 spots that we just made, grab the other crops we need for the summer crops bundle. Originally, I was going to plant a lot of the other crops we'll need for the bulletin board bundle, but once we get the greenhouse, we'll be able to plant whatever we need there. So all the crop bundles are a priority. I realized it a few days too late. Luckily, nothing got attacked by crows, but we do need a scarecrow now that we have more than 15 crops growing at once. And we grabbed a cherry for the artisan bundle. So you're gonna love this. Another green rain day, as it is every year, and I figure this could be my chance to get a fiddlehead fern. Normally they're easily gotten from the secret woods, but we can't go there. Another alternative would be the prehistoric floors in the skull cavern, and I don't want to do that. But these funky little trees that grow during the green rain day make fiddleheads. Now, a little unfortunately, after the green rain day, they revert to regular mossy trees outside of the town. And if these trees remain, they won't turn into fiddlehead trees the next year. The ones in town, though, despawn. So since I didn't cut down any trees because I don't have an axe, the only place that these fiddlehead trees spawned this year were in town. You won't believe this, but if a tree in town is left of this specific line, it cannot be bombed. It can only be chopped. Trees to the right of the line can be bombed just fine. But if it's to the left, no can do. And we didn't get any fiddlehead trees to the right of the line, meaning I can't use them. This is the wildest, most specific weird spaghetti code thing hindering this run. It almost feels targeted. At the very least, I can just wait for a fiddlehead fern to show up in the traveling cart, but man, that's wild. Well, I grabbed our hot pepper today. As a consolation prize though, our cat loves us now. And this is actually kind of important. In 1.6, cats have a chance to gift you some fish that they can catch in that season, which of course is one of the very few ways that we can obtain fish in an energy-free way. So there's the possibility that that could help us at some point. I hit level 5 fishing, and I really can't think of any reason I'd go fisher. I can't fish, so it's a pretty easy choice. Got a bream for the night fishing bundle on the 21st, and both our tomato and melons were ready on the 25th. And thank goodness we got more than enough gold quality melons, so we don't need to worry about that. I do need to fill the crop space until fall comes around. Lucky us, we actually need a lot of hybrid summer and fall crops. So we can go ahead and plant all the wheat we need, a sunflower, and corn, all of which are required for various bundles. And our last summer crop, the blueberry, is done the next day. And with that, it's time for a donation trip. Finishing out the summer crops bundle, almost finishing the quality crops, finishing the night fishing bundle, and I actually made a lot of money from selling all of the extra melons along with tea leaves, of course. So I can just fully complete the vault bundles with a very notable reward of a crystallarium. That is 2 out of the 6 bundles completed. I'm gonna set up the crystallarium in our house so I can keep a better eye on it. The clear choice for me to put on has to be jade. Free staircases at the desert trade are gonna be so powerful in this run. Also got level 6 farming today, giving us the quality sprinkler recipe. Now I don't have to worry about bombing those too much. And that's it for summer. Now recall that we already did do the fall crops bundle, so all we have to worry about this season is all the extra crops needed for the bulletin board bundle and the 5 quality corn. And to replace the dead summer crops, I'm gonna slap down some rare seeds that I bought just for the money. And wouldn't you believe it, almost immediately, another crop fairy Well, that right there is 4 sweet gemberries, a sunflower, and a corn. I replaced them with another sweet gemberry and some wheat. And then the next day, my pomegranate and apple trees are ready. So I'm gonna need 2 pomegranates, one for the artisan bundle and one for the enchanter's bundle. And then I'll need 3 apples, all for the fodder bundle. On the 8th, our first set of wheat is done, replaced by more wheat. And on Friday, our first set of corn is ready. Not quite enough for the quality crops bundle yet, but it'll regrow on its own. The traveling cart gives us a poppy, which I could have easily grown later, but might as well buy it if I can. And then 1 week later, already, that's all of our crops finished. And a sturgeon for the lake fish bundle. With that, it's time for another donation trip. For the fish, we just have the sturgeon. But for the pantry bundles, the artisan bundle's completed with a pomegranate, giving us a free keg, which I actually completely forgot about. We don't actually have to get our farming level up for that. And the 5 gold corn to the quality crops bundle. That is all the pantry bundles done. Half of the rooms are complete. Then cleaning stuff up on the bulletin board, we have a pomegranate for the enchanter's bundle, sunflower for the dye bundle, poppy for the chef bundle, and everything for the fodder bundle. So this leaves 3 bundles left, each with only 1 item left to donate. We're in the home stretch. Kinda. I go ahead and set our keg up with the fruit just in case we don't end up getting a wine from the traveling cart. And overnight, the greenhouse is built, which is a much bigger deal than it might seem. So I'm gonna go ahead and till some space in here with a bomb to get our red cabbage seed growing. Couple of special things about these tilled spots, they're never going to go away. Ever. Not only that, if you were to put some fertilizer down, it will also never go away. Add on top of that, no crows can get in here, no lightning can strike the crops, there's absolutely no way we can get griefed. And when we need to expend resources just to till the ground, that's a pretty big deal. Well, pretty much the rest of this just comes down to waiting for the rest of the items to roll on in. There's very few things we can do to actively speed up this process, so it's gonna be a lot of sleeping. Our wine is ready on the 26th, that's 1 item checked off. Lo and behold, there's our fiddlehead fern. And that's it for the rest of fall. Now remember, I'm still doing my chores. I'm picking my tea saplings, petting my animals, grabbing my jades from the crystallarium, all of which is preparing for our future goals. Our red cabbage is ready on the 5th of winter, and you know what that means. All of the bulletin board bundles are done, and we get a seed maker, some pink cake, and gold bars for our efforts, which will probably be useful at some point. So to remind you, this leaves us with just a few items to get. We have the 10 hardwood to complete the crafts room bundle, but again, we're waiting for the wood skip so that we can set up that pond. And then we're waiting on 6 more fish: largemouth bass, bullhead, tiger trout, ghost fish, and wood skip. And I can only hope that wood skip is not the last one we get. Also, huge quality of life upgrade. I'm grabbing old slither legs. This book will allow me to walk through grass almost at full speed. And since I'll be filling up pretty much my entire farm with grass so that debris doesn't spawn, is pretty important. Well, pretty much the last thing to talk about is how long it took to get everything from the traveling cart. I was hoping that this wouldn't be the last thing to rely on, but here we are. Oh, also, now that we completed the bulletin board bundle, we have a very threatening letter in our mailbox. The moment we read this letter, everyone in town gets 2 hearts of friendship with us. But the thing is, I don't want it, because it's just all going to decay by the time I get around to doing all the relationships for everyone. So no more reading mail. While waiting for the traveling cart, I realized I could get a ghost fish from a ghost, and I got it in 1. It's that easy, just get the drop. On the 26th, I got my sardine. That finishes the ocean fish, getting us some beach warp totems, never know when that could be useful. Very next card on the 28th, I got my largemouth bass. And it's year 3. Do you think our grandpa is proud of us? Apparently not. Took a pretty long detour at the desert festival. There's a chance that Leah works one of the shops, and if she does, she sells 100 hardwood for 3 eggs each. And it's pretty easy to grind out calico eggs without using any energy. All you have to do is go back and forth on floor 1 of the skull cavern and activate whatever statues are there for a chance at like 50 eggs at once. Unfortunately, she never showed up. Also, yeah, during the desert festival, you can go into the skull cavern without needing the skull key. Pretty cool if you just don't want to get to the bottom of the mines. I took the curious substance quest, got the ectoplasm drop on the first try. Again, like I said before, it's easy, just get the drop. I mostly did this because I thought the mini obelisks would be really nice going back and forth from the traveling cart every day, but turns out they need hardwood to be built, so that's not gonna happen. We got our next fish on winter 7th, and it was the tiger trout. 2 left to get, and the more fish we find, statistically, the less likely we are to get something we need from the traveling cart. So let's see. To fill the time, I bomb a giant hole in my front yard. Man, that felt good. and I go ahead and get my fish pond set up for the wood skip. Of all places, the bullhead shows up on year 4 at the Desert Festival, which does have a traveling cart every day, so it's worth checking. And that means the nightmare scenario has happened. We're waiting for the wood skip last. Year 5, it shows up at the night market of all places. Well, there it is. Gotta go ahead and toss it into the pond. It doesn't take long for it to start asking for the hardwood, and we reluctantly give it to it. There's a couple of other quests that we have to fulfill that aren't really too hard, and now it's about a 7% chance to get 5 hardwood each day, which isn't really too bad. So the plan is I keep collecting from it until I get to 20 hardwood. And at this point, I can empty out the pond, no energy needed, it refunds all of the fish that were in it. I can toss 1 wood skip back in, and now I have the wood skip to complete the fish bundles and the 10 hardwood to finish the crafts room bundles. Everything done and not a single point of energy or a single exploit used. And with that 10 extra hardwood, we can complete that quest for the wood skip again so that it can continue making us more hardwood. So with this done, what's next? Well, that's phase 1 completed. Now we have to move on to phase 2, which is entering the Walnut Room on Ginger Island, where I realize I've made a huge mistake. But you'll have to find out what that mistake is next time. Yeah, so I thought this video was going to be like 20 to 30 minutes because it was only part of a challenge run. Yeah, no. There was a lot to explain here, but now we've got the ball rolling and we can speed through the next parts. If you would like to watch the full uncut version of this, you can go and check it out on the new VOD channel. It's nice to have the full playthrough out there just so I can look back on it, but also it's kind of proof that I didn't use energy in between cuts or anything. Kind of a 2-for-1 deal. Join me next time when we go for phase 2. Thank you for watching, and good night.